The verses in the Bible are vibrational sacred language that carry spiritual authority, and reciting them aloud activates divine intention through sound and focused belief. The verses are not just words but spoken formulas used to influence spiritual conditions. The specific verse in this video is aligned with the condition needed resolved. Recite along with the verses to affect the change. Repeating the verse strengthens the intention. I trust this Bible verse will aid you in your life journey. I was glad when they said unto me, Let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, Peace be within thee. Because of the house of the Lord our God I will seek thy good. I was glad when they said unto me, Let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, Peace be within thee. Because of the house of the Lord our God I will seek thy good. I was glad when they said unto me, Let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, Peace be within thee. Because of the house of the Lord our God I will seek thy good. I was glad when they said unto me, Let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is
Greetings to the Conscious Collective, Divine Rising, Divine Rising. If you're seeing this in the morning, this is our live psychic practice. Thank you for joining me in this practice. We are going to start with the numbers. Let me remove the video. I don't know if you guys are checking out the video on my long form, but they are readings from the book of Psalms. If you're not familiar with Psalms, or if you're not truly familiar with the Christian Bible, it is definitely made up of spells. There are powerful spiritual lessons in there, but there's also, if you are aware and open, you can discover a lot of spells in there. I hate calling them magical because it gives people the wrong idea exactly what spells are. But I guess you can call them magical. They're not really what we call magical. Science is now labeling them as like a quantum of, what do you call it? Quantum fields, quantum theoretical concept. If you're familiar with quantums, you'll see that a lot of things that people were saying that were, greetings, Nicole, greetings, greetings, greetings. A lot of things that people were saying were magical actually have some basics in science now. We already understood that as spiritual people, but I think science is catching up with spirituality. And now that it can explain it to people scientifically, people are more inclined to understand it or agree with it, right? I am wearing my crown today, if you haven't noticed, because I want this to be part of our exercise of guessing which kufi I will be wearing. This crown is a little awkward. This was made by a guy at a festival. You like this? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I don't wear it that often, but I think it speaks to my energy, so I like it. But I have the kufis in a bag, and I'm going to put it on, pick one out the bag without seeing it, and you guys will tell me which kufi. You can put it in the chat now. If you don't mind, put it in now. I won't see which one I pull, and then you tell me which kufi I will be wearing during this live. I won't be wearing the crown, but I will be wearing a kufi. I like to have my head covered as a sign of respect. I cover my head. We don't have to get into that, but it's a part of my belief system. All right. So we're doing our numbers instead of black and white. Does anyone else want to take a guess on which kufi I will be wearing in a few minutes? All right. Where did I place the number? I want you to keep track of the remote viewing exercise we're doing. I have 3 numbers, and I'm placing a Palo Santo stick on one of them. And you tell me which one it is. And we'll be working on, I want you guys to put in the chat. I know Nicole's already, she said the black and white. I have 2 kufis that I traditionally wear. I think she meant the black and white one. This is kind of the gray and black. And then put it in the chat. Trying to engage all my quiet people that are listening and participating, but don't say anything. What do they call that online? It's not stalking. What's it called online when you just listen and you don't say anything? So we're doing our remote viewing exercise. I'm placing this on 1 of the 2, 3. I'm wearing my crown today. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. All right. If you don't, you don't. Doesn't change who I am, right? Just because you don't know, don't make it not true. There's a lot of things you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know how the planets revolve around the sun, but they do. All right. You know, you don't know how cell phones work, but they work, right? So basically, living your life on what people don't know is kind of a crazy work. Crazy work. All right. I had an uncle, right? LC, man, that was a man's man. We don't do it on one. LC was a man's man. And I asked LC how come LC knew everything about everything. He was very opinionated. LC was very opinionated. Um, but I asked LC, has he ever traveled, been any place? He says, why? I don't need to go no place. I don't need to travel. But LC knew everything. LC knew everything. LC lived in 3D. We're creating a new reality, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. Thank you for joining me. I'm about to remove the crown and put on my kufi for today. I want those that wish to participate, please to take a guess in the comments which kufi I will be pulling on. I will not be looking in the bag, but I will be pulling out one of these kufis and wearing a kufi. The crown is a little hot and awkward, but it is my crown. We may go into details of the symbolism of crowns and what that means, and anointing and being anointed. I don't really think it's important because we're moving away from titles and positions and authority and more into a collective energy. I was speaking yesterday about Jamal Bryant and people claiming to be leaders and to have these positions of authority. Divine rising. You say the black and white too. All right. And we're moving away from that type of hierarchy, which is crazy because that kind of aligns with the feminine energy, that it be more. See, a lot of feminine energy is operating in masculine energy right now. They don't because that's all they know. That's all they're really seeing. And as they tap more into their feminine energy and tap more into their self, they're going to find new ways of governing, new ways of leadership, and new ways of bringing people together that looks nothing like masculine leadership. All right. Masculine leadership is about presentation, authority, blah, 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 force. Right. But as we move into feminine energy, and as women tap more into that feminine part, I'm not talking about mirroring masculine energy and just being a version of men, right? With the authority and the matriarch, is the mirror image of the patriarch. I'm talking about something totally new, something that's going to be a new concept, something that is going to be fair and just and loving and kind, because that's the nature of feminine energy. All right. So that was 2. We're doing our remote viewing. I have 3 numbers. I'm placing a Palo Santo stick on one of them. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being part of this. We're going to get into a few different things today. And I'm like, Source, why don't you just give me the whole plan at once? Why don't you just give me the whole plan at once? And it's like, fool I am. You just can't comprehend it. You can't comprehend it. All right. And that's sometimes we are given the plan. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I was working earlier and I turned down the volume. I get up really early. I'm lucky if I can sleep till 5 o'clock. Okay. I'm lucky if I can sleep till 5 o'clock. All right. So since we got a few people who do want to participate, we got a black and white, and we have a black. All right, so I'm looking in the bag. Let's see which one it is. Ready? Black and white. Black and white. I'm doing this because I want you to start using your gifts and your intuitive abilities, not only because you are God incarnated on this plane of existence. And you know what? I'm hearing a lot of churches, a lot of religious talk about us being gods now. Remember that used to be a taboo? That you no. You're not God. And now I'm hearing a lot of conversations in a lot of areas about the nature of our consciousness is God. I think it's no, I mean, how close can you get than being a part of something and understanding your place in that thing? Okay. All right. Yeah, they definitely, people are definitely becoming more and more aware, but I think that we wasn't ready for it before. We were not ready for it before. Let me show you this. All right. So look, this is so cool, right? So, all right, it actually, the guy that made it, right? That's like genius. So it's a fabric. If you can't tell, it's a fabric. Okay. So let's take this and this. Whoo! Goodness, 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 goodness. And let's go to this one. So those are so a lot of you know who Nicole, like you are very, see, we all have spiritual gifts, but are like, some of our gifts are very prominent in us. Everyone has spiritual gifts, right? Even a person that doesn't think they have spiritual gift have spiritual gift. I mean, you're part of the divine, even if you don't think you're part of the divine, right? And your gift, Nicole, is which one are you really good at of these practices? Of the three that we do, I think the one that the mind reading one, you're very good at. You're very good at. All right. Who's a liar? Look at this AI. Just came in for no reason and called me a liar. What am I lying about? Before you get removed. What am I lying about? I will post this. Maybe they know me from somewhere. I used to be a liar. AI, are you still there? Is AI still there? See, what I just tell you about what people think about you, not determining who you are. What people, you have people who just roam around. I know they could be agents, or maybe they're dormant seeds, but they operate in such weirdness. Just weirdness. Instead of just keeping it moving, you know. When I was younger in Chicago, and I was just walking down the street. It was I was on Ashland, a street called Ashland. I was just walking down the street, and some young Caucasian men just drove past and yelled the N-word. No rhyme or reason, nothing. We were engaged. I didn't know them. I just, and it's like the pain that people be in, that they have to reach out and hurt somebody else. It's like crazy work, that you're in such pain, such denial, that it's like you have to hurt somebody else. That's crazy. That's just amazing. But I'll leave that comment up in case they want to come back and elaborate. I don't know if I'm in for it today. I might be in for it today, but it's like someone just calls you a name with no justification, no reason, just to try to hurt you or to provoke a emotion out of you so you can feel their pain. It's crazy work. Divine Rising, Divine Rising. Thank you. You need to rewind so you can see the crown. We're doing a practice where I'm going to wear my crown each day. I guess me wearing my crown is a liar. And then I'm going to choose which kufi, just to encourage people to use their gifts outside of this practice. We're doing our remote viewing, and I got distracted a little bit, just trying to understand. I forgot what I was talking about, but I was trying to understand why people want. Well, I know hurt people, and they just want you to feel their pain instead of healing themselves and working on themselves. They wanted you to feel their pain. And if you let people decide who you are, and you let people, share their lower vibration with you, then you are actually joining them. It's just crazy work. But I guess they're gone now, or maybe they're still listening because I have that effect on people. You may say something, but then something about throw them in a box. Let me explain this, and I'm gonna be all over the place today. I can feel that. I got chaotic energy, right? Earth has magic. Gaia has magic. All right. I guess they're calling it quantum energy now. All right. But Earth has what would be described as a magical field. There are powers and abilities that you can pull down from source, like psychic reading and remote viewing and stuff. But there's also the power of the place, of the dirt, of the sky, of the sea. And if you know how to use that, right? And some people do tap into it, especially if they're Gaian souls, and they actually have been born here. See, my consciousness is not from here, but some people, they've never been to. They don't come from other dimensions or other planes of existence. They actually come from here. They're Gaian souls, right? Where I'm more of an extraterrestrial, even though I am mixed with Gaian energy, but I digress. And they're very good. They're drawn to Wicca. They're drawn to nature, and they're drawn to the planet. And if they learn the secrets of the planet, they can do very powerful things. Very powerful things. Okay. I give you a example. We're looking at one. You can use the power of the planet, right? Like to do negative things, depending on where your mindset is, where your development is at, right? So you might take some dirt and a person's name or whatever, and I'm not going to go into it. We all know, those that know. You can put people in jars, right? You can seal their tongue. You can do a lot of things, right? That may not be as positive. But when you're using divine energy, when you're using divine powers, it's a higher vibrational power. You see, magic and Wicca, I'm not saying that it is evil, but it can be negative because it's low energy. It's in your plane of existence. It's in your lower chakras that you're using those things when you're using Gaia to affect situations. But when you start moving into higher consciousness, right, you're using divine gifts. So you can do negative things with that too, but most of it operates out of higher consciousness. So it's more about healing. It's more about, feeding, caring. Your gifts are mainly used like that. They're very, very rarely used for something negative when you're tapping into a higher source of power. But when you tap into your lower energy, see, the mistake that most people make is they don't think that they have power. That's 3. The mistake that most of us make is not realizing that power is all around us, right? You can take the water and put a windmill or a water wheel on it and generate electricity. So you taking mechanical energy, kinetic energy as they call it, and you have converted it into electrical energy. So you can't turn on your light with water, but you can change that energy into something that can turn on lights. And that's the way spiritual gifts and your ability and your power that we don't think about, we don't tap into, that you have that ability to convert it, to alchemize it, to do things what you want, whether you're pulling it from the higher source or you're actually tapping into earth. Every planet, every physical dimension has a source of power. Okay. And so I just want to awaken people to that. All right. Awaken them to that gift. I was hoping this guy would come back, but he didn't. He didn't. He said what he had to say, and that's all he has to say. So we're doing our remote viewing, and I'm placing the Palo Santo on one number, 123. Please tell me where I placed it at. Don't tell me, but note in your own notebook where I placed it at. So 2. So thank you for joining me. We got a lot of things we can get into. Are you guys checking out the Psalms videos I'm putting up? Again, I was explaining earlier that Psalms are actually spells. The Bible itself is just filled with spells. Do you know they took the book of Solomon out the Bible? Do you know they took the book of Solomon out the Bible? So 1. You ask yourself, why did they do that? Why would they do that? Because that book had a lot of great spells in it. But they left Psalms in it because they thought people wouldn't be able to decipher it. But a lot of people have been able to figure it out. And so when you were listening to the Psalms that I posted or you're reading them, they seem like that they have no, they just don't relate to what you're talking about, right? Say you need an action to take place, right? And then you try to use the Psalms for that because each Psalm is related to a certain condition, right? The Psalm doesn't seem like it's related to that, but it actually is because, and I'm going to read this to you really quickly. The verses in the book of Psalms are understood as vibrational, sacred language. The verses carry spiritual authority, and reciting them aloud is seen as activating divine attention through sound and focused belief. They're not just prayers, but spoken formulas used to influence spiritual condition. If you understand that you are the greatest technology ever conceived, and you understand that things operate on energy, if you don't think you're energy, just don't eat today. It's just if you think about it, right, you say, well, we're not energetic beings, but you're not. If you eat a banana, you're not a banana. You turn that banana into energy. You can't use the banana in its form. You have to alchemize it, right, for it to do any good to you or do any good for you. And it's the same way with your gifts, right? And they have to be alchemized in you so they can actually work for you. And so when we're looking at the writings in Psalms as spells, the words are actually vibrational frequencies, not what we think they're mean, but the sound that they make. And that's how it works. So I've been posting those videos on, and I open these talks with videos. So you should definitely check them out. Check them out and see if they help you in your journey. All right. This will be the last one, number 3. All right. That was our remote viewing. We're going to go to our Zender cards and do some precognition work, some predicting to awaken our gifts on being able to possibly predict the future or future events. We have 5 cards here of various colors: green, black, blue, red, yellow, of various shapes: circle, plus, wavy line, square, and stars. Please tell me the card that's coming up next. Note it in your little scratch pad or wherever way you are participating in this practice. Wavy lines. Can we see that? When we kept seeing boxes yesterday. After we do our practices, I want to go into our chakra exercise. We haven't done work on our chakras, and I want to bring it back to the collective as things start to move relatively fast. I want the collective to be prepared. Nicole, can you write what you were telling me yesterday about, I think your son, Dream? I want to add that into our conscious creating artwork later. We do something later on in this talk where I ask the conscious collective to take a moment, close their eyes, and tell me what they see. And then we put that into our AI and generate an image off of it. Okay, thanks. I'm going to figure out how to write that in the AI. We're doing our predicting exercise. We're looking at the 5 shapes and we're taking note of what color or shape comes up next. How's everyone doing today? Is everyone with me? Give me 1 second. Look at my notes really quick. I do want to talk about one thing I've been promising to talk about, and we're going to do it today. I want to talk about ego versus self-love. Just so that we understand the difference in that, I think that needs to be made clear. I don't know if I can do it at the same time that I'm doing this exercise, but we'll get into it in a minute. We got a little time today. How you guys doing with your exercises? Are you where are you at? 20%, 30%, 50%, 100% in your cognitive work? Look at the 5 shapes and then 95%. And you're getting better. Why are you amazed? You've been really, I mean, consciously developing your gifts, and people are seeing it to you. It's interesting. You told me your son came to you uh, because people only come to people when they think that they can understand what they have seen. They want you to clarify the image for them. They see your gift, they see your ability. Just like a lot of you guys come to me, you're going to be people that other people come to. You're the new healers, teachers, and leaders of the new consciousness, of the new. And that's another point where when you remember dreams, if you ever remember awaking your dream, when you awaken like that, it is definitely a message. It is definitely things that you're tapping into. Let's do a couple more of these. 1 second, checking some. I'm checking a lot of things. Give me 1 second. We're gonna do a couple more. It's a plus. Oh, for those that just might be listening, I guess I should be saying what they are. It's a red plus because some people I know are just listening. It's a green star. So much to remember when you're doing this. I understand why a lot of people don't get online and really do. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel like talking. They'll get it. They'll get it. I just they'll get it. And I don't say I get encouraged by the universe that that's my purpose here is to help people raise their consciousness. Um, and I was thinking this the other day. This will be our last one. It is a square. That it would be so comforting to think that this life would be it. Just like we could think that, oh, someone else can pay for my sins, which is crazy work, and I don't have to do anything and just ask forgiveness from something, not the person that I did wrong, right? Even in Alcohol Anonymous, AA, you have to go to the person and you have to acknowledge the hurt that you caused. And so we've been taught through our religious teachings that we don't have to do that. We just have to go to something else, someone else, another body, another entity, and get our salvation from there. Regardless of the person we have wronged or done wrong or what is going on with them. Right? Even if we have unalived them or whatever, hurt them, whatever, you can be forgiven for that. And that would be so comforting. because it will take the responsibility off you. And in the same way that if I could just make it through these 80, 90 years, 100 years of life, then I don't have to worry about this no more. I can either go to hell, and that's what it is, or I go to heaven and laugh at everybody in hell. That would be maybe cool. That would be really cool if you could do that. But my proposition to spiritual people is that these are lessons that you learn over lifetime, and you have to keep repeating lifetimes so that you can learn more lessons that help you raise your consciousness, right? And so there's a constant reincarnation going on. This is different from the soul cycle that you put in through the matrix. This is your normal process of growth, right? The actual matrix, right, actually forces you back into your lower density self. But as you evolve, and they say never go towards the light. When you do, move on to the next stage, never go towards the light, because that's the false light. Okay. So I think what would be more problematic for me is to know that I would have to repeat this process again, and maybe even repeat it at a lower level. I mean, the repetition is something that would be boring as fuck to me. But to maybe even have to go down a level as I made mistakes in this life, as I failed to recognize truths, and I failed to evolve, then maybe to repeat this, or to see those that know. Yeah, and I think you're exactly right, Nicole. Those that know that's the nightmare. That's truly the nightmare of having to repeat and not evolve. And so it would really feel great if we think, oh, it's one and done, and we don't have to worry about it no more. And so that's why a lot of people are troubled by spirituality, because we're talking about work. We're talking about work. And a lot of people, they just want to, just go through this and either nothing happens, or I go to hell, or I go to heaven. And I'm coming here to tell you that if you don't do what you're supposed to do here, this is like, even with your soul contract, for those that have signed up to complete certain tasks in this life, and who we want to interact with, and what relationships we want to have, and what situation we want to occur to aid us in our growth. We write out our lesson plan. A lot of us have written out our lesson plan, right? But to not complete it and to come back again and again and again, right? That is almost hell to spiritual people. That we're not growing, that we're not learning, that we're not evolving. So I think that's why a lot of people are troubled by the way spiritual people think. We have a different way of thinking about God, but we also have a different way of thinking about our role in the universe. And I think that's what troubles a lot, because religious people, it would feel so good to know that this is one and done. Like I do these videos, whatever happens is one and done. And it would be so rewarding to experience, oh, this is it. We don't have to worry about this again. But I'm telling you, no, you do. You have to do the best you can here, or you have to repeat this. And if you don't do the best you can, sometimes you have to go remedial and maybe come back in a worse condition. See, the way I understand it is like, if say you were white and you own slaves, right? As part of our conscious growth, you have to play different roles. So some lifetime you may come back as being owned by someone too, because you need to see it and not just read about it or think about it. You need to experience it so that you learn from it. And I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with, is that, oh, that's why they don't want to believe in reincarnation. They want it over and done with. They want to say, oh, well, I'm done with this. I get my reward, And I'm like, there's no reward except going into a higher state of consciousness. The good news is a lot of us have done a lot of good work in past lives. I know. I read your energy. A lot of you have done great work in past lives. And this is your last part. You may have to repeat this a couple of times, but this is your last part where you get into your ascended mastery part. Exactly. It makes no sense if it's one and done. It has to be more. What's the purpose? What's the purpose? Everything has a purpose. What's the purpose if it's just one and done? You think you learned everything you need to learn to be divine in one lifetime? Come on, people. Come on, man. You learned everything that you needed to learn to be on the right hand of God. And you have experienced every situation. You have played every role. And now you have the hubris and the ego to say, I can sit in heaven with God now. You haven't done it all. You haven't experienced it all. You can condemn people about certain things, but you haven't seen it from their perspective. So how do you know? How do you know? And that's the problem, that, people, you don't, it would be just so easy just to be religious. I mean, all you gotta do is just obey the rules. You don't really have to change. You don't have to be different. Just fake it. Just fake it, And then at the end, you go to your great reward. It's over with. It's done. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna go into our next practice. Our next psychic practice is read my mind. We use the all-seeing eye tarot cards. They have very faint colors on them, and they have symbols, and there's a word, and there's a number. I look at it, and I'm asking the collective to read my mind, read my energy, which is funny. I don't really read minds. I read energy, but you can determine a lot from somebody's energy. But reading your mind is a very specific practice. It's a good practice to help us. Just like in the physical world, to be good at something, you have to practice. There was a guy that was better than LeBron James. He was actually better than LeBron James by all the standards in basketball. He lives in South Carolina now in a shack. But when he was coming up through the time that LeBron James, they're about the same age, he was coming up, LeBron James would go to practice. LeBron James would listen to his coach. LeBron James worked hard. LeBron James had natural talent, just like this other guy had natural talent. You are born with certain gifts. You're born with certain talents, but you have to practice, right? Just like in the physical world, you have to practice. So this guy was pretty egotistical, didn't think he had to go to practice, was hard to work with, was disrespectful to his coaches, and he ended up with nothing. Now he's looking at LeBron James that he has played against, has beaten a couple of times, and looking at the money and success of LeBron James. And LeBron James still has a great work ethic. When he shows up for practice, they say he look at you crazy if you late. He gives you whole attitude if you late, right? Because he has that winning attitude. But the thing is, when you are good at something, you don't just be good at it. You have to work at being good at it. Everyone should practice whatever they want to master. And so we practice our psychic abilities because we have some abilities, but we want to be good at it. We want to be good at it. I was looking at it is a feather, and the number is truth 25. Someone called me a liar. Someone called me a liar earlier in this live. They called me a liar and they disappeared. And the universe responded. The universe responded. Because these are my psychic reading cards. I don't do it, but this is responding with truth. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Confirmation. Confirmation, people. Confirmation. If you're in here, you're in the right place to be. If you're not, oh, wow. I'm looking at a shape. It has a word and a number and a color. And I'm asking, thank you, sister. Now, if the universe would have gave me a different card, I would have examined myself and I would have checked in with myself to say, where am I'm a liar? Where am I a liar at? The card that I was looking at is this. It is the new moon and 45, almost eclipse of the sun. I'm looking at a card, a number, and a color, and a symbol. Please tell me what I'm looking at. Thought it was something. We're doing our last psychic, well, our next to last psychic practice. We do something called Conscious Creator. We're going to do it a little later. We got a lot of things to get to. Thank you for joining this conversation. Thank you for being part of this. We are growing as a community, and I'm glad that you guys are here. I was looking at wavy lines. It's kind of a teal blue color, and it is guys and the number 07. 07. I'm looking at a color, a word, and a number. Read my mind. Read my mind. Looking at a color. Oh, shape and a number. It is pink, kind of pinkish, full moon, and number 29. Looking at a color, a shape, and a number. Where my Wiccas at? Where my Wiccas at? Those that follow the Hecate path. The all-seeing eye, the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus, the healer, the knower of all things. 32. 32. It is kind of a lilac color. Lilac. This will be our last one. Woo, I am tapped in today. I am tapped in today. Tapped in today. Feeling good. I'm looking at a color, shape, a word, and a number. Please tell me what I'm seeing. I don't know what that means. Me next. I'm lost. I don't know what that means. This is our last psychic practice. We do different exercise to awaken our spiritual divine gifts so that we may maneuver. Yeah, these are not live readings. Nope. 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 I don't do live readings. I encourage you to learn how to read yourself. I encourage you to learn how to tap into your abilities and your gifts, that you don't have to go and pay someone else to tell you what you should know. But that doesn't interest a lot of people. They rather just let someone else tell them about their lives. Does Ricky love me? Does Ricky love me? I've been talking a lot about Gaian energy, Hecate. For those that know, we're looking at natural spirits. It's actually a woman in a tree. Color's kind of green. Well, seeking justice. Ask the universe for confirmation. Ask the universe for confirmation. Ask the universe to show you confirmation. Ask the universe to show you confirmation for what you need to know. Your higher self will answer you. Your higher self will answer you. And it'll tell you in ways that you cannot deny. All right. That was our practice. Okay. We're going to do what we used to do before, and we stopped as I got kind of discouraged on, TikTok. We had a huge following on TikTok. Because of the algorithm and the way YouTube is set up, it's not going to have that type of following, but we are building our audience, and I'm grateful. But TikTok was an easier lift, and I got pretty big on TikTok. And then woke up one morning and it said this account was banned. And I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now. So that should tell you guys something. Those that have been with me a while know I'm not, I'm not disparaging people. I'm not doing anything hypersexual. All I'm doing is talking. If I was pro-religious, and I guess that would be okay. You get up there, a lot of people reading the Bible and they hen and hawing. But when the awakening of people is a very dangerous thing. The awakening of people is a very dangerous thing, and it is not what people want you to share. So we're building it out here, and I decided to bring back something that I used to share with the collective, and I want to bring it back again. And this is our tapping EFT technique. If you're not familiar with EFT, it's where you tap on a certain point of your body, because it has shown to release energy that allows you to be in a better state. We have adopted that for moving energy through our chakras. That's beautiful. You should have regular practice. I always encourage to keep regular and constant in your practice, right? So I want to reintroduce that and go through that each morning with you guys after we do our psychic practices. I want to go do some tapping. So let's go through our tapping, right? And we're going to start with the root chakra, the base of our spine. Okay. And you can tap there like this, or you can just bounce. We're trying to move the energy in it and then repeat the affirmation as you're doing it. Okay. So as you bounce, you're going to say, I am connected with the energy of Mother Earth. My body, mind, and spirit are grounded, centered, and pure. I am connected with the energy of Mother Earth. My body, mind, and spirit are grounded, centered, and pure. All right. Then we move to our sacral chakra, which is right 2 inches below the navel. You want to tap there. All right. And as you tap there, just tap gently with the tips of your fingers. And you're going to say, I love all dimensions of myself. I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. As you tap, you're moving that energy out of that sacral chakra right below the navel, and you're repeating, I love all dimensions of myself. I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. Moving on to the solar plexus chakra, right above the navel, that is the I do chakra. And we're going to tap gently there with the tips of your finger and say, my will and divine will are one. I am connected to the abundant flow of the universe. I easily attract my dreams. Gently tapping there, the I do. My will and divine will are one. I am connected to the abundant flow of the universe. I easily manifest my dreams. Moving to that heart chakra. Some of us may have to tap a little harder. We're holding a lot of negative energy in that heart chakra. We want to balance that. We don't want to love too much. We don't want to love too little. You want to be balanced. My heart is open to receiving the energy of love. I radiate this essence. I walk my path with ease and grace. The heart chakra is the I love. You're tapping there with 2 fingers. My heart is open to the energy of love. I radiate this essence. I walk my path with ease and grace. To those that are really blocked in their throat chakra, this is going to be really good. You want to tap gently on that throat chakra, and you're going to say, I am aligned with my highest truth. I communicate this with love and honor. My words echo softly within the universe. The throat chakra is I speak. So you're tapping gently there as you repeat. I am aligned with my highest truth. I communicate this with love and honor. My words echo softly within the universe. Now we move into our third eye chakra, and we're gently tapping there. This is the I see chakra. And we're going to say, my mind is open to new visions. I expand my awareness through my highest self. Continue to tap and say, my mind is open to new visions. I expand my awareness through my highest self. You have to understand that this is just an avatar. You are a higher conscious being. This is like the game you're playing. So as we tap the top of our heads, the crown chakra, which is the I know chakra, we're going to say, I am connected to the divine source of the universe. I am light. I trust. When you're tapping, you're actually breaking up the energy. I am connected to the divine source of the universe. I am light. I trust. I had a therapist actually tell me that she has incorporated that tapping into her sessions with her clients, and she was amazed how well it worked, and asked me how did I come across this? Where did I get it from? And I'm like, it was a download that I received from source on how to move energy through those chakras really quickly. Okay. A lot of times we work very abstractly with the chakras because there's very subtle energy. So we'll wear certain colors, or we'll eat certain foods, or we'll do certain meditations to clear the chakras. But the tapping allows you to do it quickly, right? And to be able to move that energy out of place. And if you do that enough times and as a regular practice, you'll find yourself being more open and energy flowing more readily through you. Before we get into our conscious creator creations, where I'm asking the collective to take a moment, close their eyes, and tell me what they're seeing, I want to talk about something really quick that I've been promising to talk about, and that is the ego versus self-love. I think we get confused, or maybe there's not enough distinction between the ego and self-love. So I want to make a point of clarifying that. And I wonder, can I do this in a way that I can see the message right? So the ego is built on separation. The ego is part of the solar plex chakra, and to have an ego is not a bad thing. You are supposed to be, hold on. You are supposed to be here and now. You are supposed to be here and now. You are in this physical world, and you're supposed to be here in this physical world because you're learning how to manipulate energy. You're learning how to control energy. And so you have concerns around the lower chakras that establish your presence here. We know that source is the great I am, and we know that the root chakra is the I am chakra. So you are the microcosm of the macrocosm. You are a small part of the whole. Just like your cells are a part of you, a vital part of you. We're not cells, we're not nothing. You are a part of the consciousness of creation. So having an ego is a necessary thing. What happens is we overfeed the ego, and the ego actually starts to work against us. When you are struggling with something, you need determination. The ego, the solar plex chakra, gives you that determination. It is the I do, right? We've seen situations where people are in industries or fields where it requires a lot of determination. So they have to have a strong ego. They have to believe in themselves. Take Kanye West, right? Huge ego. But you got to understand, he was in a very competitive field, a field when people routinely dismiss you. So you need to have a very strong ego. What happens is you overstimulate that ego and it becomes destructive, right? The ego is often seen as fire in your belly, right? And the thing is, it's a sun. It's a duplicate of the universe. So it's a sun. But that sun can also burn out of control. We like to say I was in the industry for a while, in the entertainment industry. I ran a modeling agency in California, and very interesting work. Just very curious that most of the women that I had on my roster as models, legit models, right? The ones that you would think that attractiveness would come easy to them, they struggle with it. And the ones that you would think that were not as attractive were the best models. Because the ones that were not attractive had to work harder than the ones who their attractiveness came naturally to. And so you have to understand that they had to be more outgoing. They had to be more forceful if they wanted to succeed in that industry. Well, there was a saying that I always reminded them of, that spotlight is bright, but it also burns. Mark my word, Michael B. Jordan is at the top of the game right now. You know, the actor Michael B. Jordan won a bunch of awards, right? Good looking black guy, right? At the top of the game. They're going to come for him. The bigger you are, the bigger target you are. They're going to come for him. Mark my word, they coming for him. All right. I'm hoping he don't walk around in any dresses, but they're going to come for him. You're going to start hearing a lot of things because the bigger you are, the bigger target you are. And the thing is, the brighter the spotlight, the hotter it gets. So you have to understand when you're working with the ego. Yep. The ego is important, but the ego can become overstimulated. And this is where we start getting into problems. The ego says, I need to be seen as important. This is why I don't wear my crown. You guys saw me in my crown, probably have never seen me in that crown because that would be egotistical. I know the covenant between me and divine source. I know who I am. I don't have to prove who I am to anybody. I know who I am. But the ego says, I need to be seen. I need to prove something. I am better than, or even I am less than, which makes you more reactive. The ego operates through the feedback it receives, the approval, the status, the recognition, or being right. We need to understand that you don't have to be right all the time. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. But a lot of us refuse to even operate in being wrong. When the ego appears confident, it's often rooted in fear. Remember, we live in 3D Earth where fear, scarcity, lack of, defensiveness, separation exist. It's a fear of being overlooked, rejected, or not being enough. The ego creates separation. We're talking about the difference between the ego and self-love. It's the me versus you. Here's one for, I'm not going to call names. The winning versus losing. The lack versus having. A lot of us operate in that winning mentality. We're taught that by the matrix or the powers of the matrix. That not only that I win, you must lose. That is your challenge. The universe is asking you something. That is the challenge that we face. Our lessons are in the work that we do. I've often said in 5D reality, there are no sports teams. There are no losers and there are no winners. We don't operate in that space that I must have and you must not. That is not the space of love. They say there's enough on the planet for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. We operate where so few people have so much and so many people have so little. You guys don't think that's strange? I guess you're just glad you have much until you meet somebody that has more than you. Then you want to be them. Self-love aligns with your inner truth. We're talking about the difference between the ego and self-love. We know the ego is built on separation. Self-love is built on our connection to each other and the whole of everything. This is what self-love sounds like. We talked about what ego sounds like. I need to be seen. I need to be proved something. I am better, or even I'm less than. Self-love sounds like I am enough as I am. Wow. I am enough as I am. I honor my needs and set boundaries. I honor my needs and I set boundaries. I grow, but I don't reject myself. Self-love respects your growth. And I am the first one to tell you right now, I am on a journey. And I may get some parts of this journey wrong, but I will show myself grace. You need to spend time looking back at things in your life that you are ashamed of, that you regret, that you wish you wouldn't have done, and then show yourself some grace. I always tell people, we always operate from our current past tense in judging our past tense. We always operate from our current state in judging our past. And that's unfair because we didn't have the information that we currently have now. And we try to apply that back to when we didn't have it, but you didn't know. How are you going to know? Just because you know now, you're like, well, if I would have known, well, you didn't know. So you show yourself grace. And just because you know now don't mean, oh, well, I would have known then. No, you didn't know. And you always have to show yourself grace as you grow. I'm not talking about, sitting in those mistakes and sitting in that regret and not exploring it and trying to move forward. I'm saying at least show yourself grace in those mistakes and then try to do better as you move forward. We're examining the difference between self-love and ego. This is a balancing act. Remember, the universe seeks balance. You have to learn how to balance that. And you don't get it right every day because the universe travels in waves. The universe seeks balance, but everything's a wave. There's ups and downs. For those that are going through it now, take me through there. Take me through there. That's funny. All right. For those that are going through it now, right? And you're feeling it, hold on. Just hold on. Hold on, because it's going to go back up. The universe operates in waves. Maybe you've been on that down ride so long that you think there's no bottom. Take me through it quickly. I like that. FS Wilson, take me through it quickly. Maybe you've been on that. I don't ride roller coasters. I don't ride because I grew up in Chicago. I'm already terrified. I don't need to be terrified. Okay? I'm good on that, all right? But that down slope is terrifying. All right? And you've been on it so long. You've been on it so long, you're like, oh my God, there's no bottom to this thing. There's no bottom to it. All right? But it's going to come back up because that's the nature of the universe. Everything in the universe operates as a wave. The only time it doesn't operate as a wave is when we observe it. Then it operates as particles. The science is there. What we've been saying spiritually is being proven by science. Everything operates as a wave until you observe it. So you can change. See, when you fall and have a falling dream, that's the time to do lucid dreaming, where you take control of that falling. That's a lesson right there. But when you observe something, I told you often about the slit experiment, Google if you need, that everything operates as a wave until you observe it, then it becomes a particle. So you have the ability to change that wave that you're feeling. And if you keep falling, that's because you're observing yourself falling. But observe yourself rising, cresting, all right, up into your higher state or the goodness, okay? See it as that way. You do control reality. All of this is connected. That's a good point. When you start, so you have a trigger, and maybe that's a point for you, FS Weather Synergy, to give yourself a trigger that if you feel like you're falling, you can trigger something in you. It says I have 0 people, but I know it doesn't count my views because this videos be blowing up after I get off of it, right? So we're talking about the ego versus the self-love. A lot of people confuse your self-love as being egotistical, and I have been accused of that, but you don't know my past. You don't know how I had to build my confidence in myself. And sometimes what you view as cockiness is just confidence. I'm not going to let you talk to me any kind of way. I'm going to set my boundaries. You can't speak to me any kind of way. You just can't. You can't play with me any kind of way. I'm going to set boundaries. I don't joke about Baba. Baba jokes, but I don't joke about Baba. And that's self-love. That is not an ego. That is self-love. The ego shows up as peace instead of pressure. Self-love. When we look at the ego operates through eternal feedback. It depends on approval, status, recognition, and being right. But self-love shows up as peace instead of pressure. When you know who you are not under any pressure. It shows up as confidence without comparison. Oh my God, can we be confident without comparing ourselves to something else? Learn to be confident in yourself without having to tear someone else down. See, this is the reason a lot of these shows on 3D operate and they do so well. It's always about tearing someone else down. Just think about it. Gossip shows, men against women, women against men. It's always the only way I can be better is I tear somebody down. I heard once that you still can build the biggest building without tearing other buildings down. That always stuck with me. You can still be the biggest building without tearing other buildings down. And that's by working on yourself. If your comparison is based on someone else's lack, that's an ego. Compassion for self and others. We get back to self-love versus the ego. The ego operates in lack and having, where self-love shows up as compassion for who? For yourself and for others. Self-love creates a connection to yourself, to others, and to your purpose. This is why it's always important that we come back to our purpose and our mission. I'm looking at the time. I'm trying to see if we can finish this. And maybe we'll pick it up again because there is the exercise I want to do. Let's put a pin in this really quick because I want to move on to our practice, our conscious creating. I wanted to include Nicole's son's dream, and I want to show you guys really quick. We're going to come back to a further discussion of the ego versus self-love, but this takes a little time here where I ask the collective to take a moment and to help me create a visual, AI visual that is offered on Gumroad for those that wish to support what we're doing here. The one we created yesterday is labeled as 3172026. This was the Conscious Collective work yesterday. Everyone had thoughts in it, and I think a lot of people found it very impactful. A lot of people saw different portals in there. It had everyone's input in that, and that's why it's one of a kind. It's offered as a limited creation. It's never going to happen again because we're never going to have the same energy around it, the same people involved. That's the one we created yesterday. You can go to Gumroad, check that one out if you want to support the Conscious Collective. The one that we did the day before that was this one, okay? But we started with a prompt of a statue. Now we don't start with prompts. We just start to create. And then I think this one was Nicole and Linda. We did a practice run on this one. Okay. So today we're working on another one, and I want to start with another prompt that Nicole, and I want you guys to add to it. So take a moment and see what you can add to it as I get the prompt ready that Nicole already wrote down. I cannot. I have to type it out. There was a lot. We do this last practice to help us be able to create our reality by awakening our conscious ability to create. So take a moment as I type this out, and we're going to see can we get it done before. Did your son say how many planets there was? He didn't say how many planets there was, huh? Greetings, Linda. We're doing our conscious creation part. Thank you for joining us. Please watch the video in its entirety. But I had to shift really quick because I want to get this done. I'm asking the collective to take a moment, close their eyes, and tell me what they're seeing. You said all of them? I think there's 9. And just put in the chat what you're seeing when you close your eyes and let me know. And I'm gonna add it to our visual. This will be project 3182026. All these projects are offered on Gumroad if you want to support the Conscious Collective. I really wanted to talk about why it's important that we start to take our place in 5D reality as 3D start to collapse. You have to understand the importance that we're going to play in the world and start getting yourself situated. The elections are coming up and people think they're going to be voting. And I was actually told that maybe I should run for office, but I don't know. Why would I participate in 5D? I mean, in 3D. All right, what do we got here? We got solar flares, large ships flying, and river water. Okay. We got fields of trees. We have anything else? Anyone else want to add? Fields of trees. A couple more before we create it. Flashing stars, reddish hue across the sky under the blue, and flashing stars. Reddish hue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys heard of the so-called meteor in the Northwest creating that sonic boom? So-called meteor. I don't think it was a meteor, but we'll go with that. All right, I think that's it. Unless there's something else. Let's see what we get. Let me see if there's anything. And a partial green grass. Linda wants green grass, and a partial opening. We're going to call it on that. All right. I want to thank you guys for your suggestions in this digital creation. I'm going to put it through and we're going to see what we come up with. This time goes by so fast. I probably could be on here much longer, but I have to stick to a schedule. So while that is generating, and I'll bring it up as soon as it's done. All right. We know that the elections is coming up, so-called election, if they don't cancel it. In the war in Ukraine, they haven't had an election in 5 years. And the thing is that they have war power acts that when we're at war, they can cancel elections. This is what, is the fear. But my thing is that as we move into 5D consciousness, right? Because someone said, well, you should run for some office and whatnot. I'm like, I don't, this world, this 3D is going away. It's collapsing. It's falling. So running or voting Democrat or voting Republican, I don't get it anyway, because neither side serves the people. They serve their own interests and people with money and politics. And we keep doing the same thing. That's how I know this system is not meant to last, because it doesn't serve anyone except those in power. And so you keep voting. One side vote for this and they never get what they want. The other side vote for this and they never get what they want. And we just keep going back and forth like a ping pong. 5D is going to upset the table, and we need to be positioning ourselves for 5D. And that means that, as I said before, it's a consciousness approach to addressing the needs of people, and it's about oneness and connection. And so as we build out this conscious collection or collective, right, as we work in our missions and our purpose, we need to support this. We need to find ways to expand on this. And that's part of the art creation that we do, because it's offered to kind of support what we're trying to accomplish here, right? We should have a voice in the creation of 5D. So this is exactly an opportunity for you to build something outside of what is already not working, right? To move more into a conscious form of government, right? There's not going to be titles. They're not going to be offices. It's just going to be based on the voice of the actual community and what they want. It's just a new way that's going to be developed and brought about. Let's see what this project is that came up. Give me a second. I love it. 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 This will be offered on Gumroad. The link will be in the description for those that want to purchase it to support the Conscious Collective. If you don't want to purchase something, you can definitely donate and help. And thank you for the donations I have received that are continuing to help us do the work that we need to do. But this is the work that was brought up. Let me bring it up. Hold on. What do you guys think? What do you think? This is our collaborative effort based on Nicole's son's dream was our starting prompt, and everyone has added their element into it in some way, I hope, to create this one of a kind This is never going to be occur. We could do it again and it still wouldn't come out. It would not be the same thing. It would not be the same thing. So it was a one of a kind and at one time piece that we created. Together, collectively, together and collectively are what it is. It is because we're actually looking at the portal. Who recommended the portal? Someone said they wanted a portal. Nicole saw the portal opening. And our whole awareness awakened. There go the shooting star. Our whole awakening, our whole awareness is coming into focus. This is project 3182026. Give me an hour to put the link to Gumroad. Come back, check it out. It'll be available on Gumroad for a small donation. If you want to contribute, you're welcome to contribute to what we're doing here, awakening our own consciousness, because we know as we become the light, we spread the light. As we become the light, we share the light. That's good. That's very good. That's very good. Woo! We done did a lot today, y'all. We done did a lot today, y'all. A lot. And I am so grateful to have such a conscious collective, to be part of such a group of people. Because what we're doing here is going to be forever. It's going to be forever. We're going to finish our talk. Oh, thank you. We're going to finish our talk on the ego. If you haven't, if you just tuned in, please replay this video. Thumbs up the video. Please thumbs up the video and share, like and share the video. You know how the algorithm works. Okay. And check out the whole video. We'll finish our talk on the ego versus self-love tomorrow. Maybe go over it again. There are more things going on than we know about. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. There are more things going on, but I like the way the portal is revealing everything, is opening everything. I love the nature aspect of it, our connection to nature. All right. And that aids our seeing the whole universe. So it's one of our best works yet. I think we're getting there as we tap into our higher self. And thank your son for the prompt. If you guys see something that you want to start with, let me know. You can send me a message or you can tell me in the chat as we get into it. This is usually the end part that we do. All right. And we're going to keep doing the chakra work. All right. And me sharing my thoughts on different things. But please thumb up the video. Please share the video. If you're not guided to give, you can watch the videos, and that still helps fuel the conscious collective. It still helps us do the things that we need to do. We need to be in position. We need to understand that as 3D collapse, we need to be in position. We need to be ready to take on the responsibility. It's not even the leadership. It's the stewardship. We don't do leadership. We do stewardships and take on that responsibility of aiding society when it's going to be at its lowest through our gifts and our abilities. There's a point to all of this. There's a plan behind all of this. And those that get it, get it. All right. So as always, I am totally honored and grateful for the work that we do together and for being part of the Conscious Collective. I want to thank everyone that has participated in this. Tomorrow we'll be guessing the kufi. I'll come in with the crown, and then we'll figure out what kufi I'm gonna be wearing because I think it's fun. All right. And so I want to thank everyone again for being part of this conversation. I want to wish everyone love, light, health, and wellness in your life journey. You guys have a great day.